The Pokemon world never ceases to surprise us, and the adventures that we have known in the DLCs of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have not left anyone indifferent, knowing new Pokemon never seen before, differential forms, evolutions, and a story full of lies. As we have already explained in the previous video, it has surprised many of us with a very interesting plot twist. Guys, as you may have read in the title of today's video, a theory is slowly building up in the Pokemon community that I truly believe would drive each and every fan crazy. Understand that this first Pokemon DLC has once again lied to us once again, hiding from us a new legendary Pokemon that we really had all this time in front of us. That's why, before we get into all this information and theory, I would greatly appreciate it if you leave a like, subscribe if you are not already, and leave me here in the comments your opinion of everything we are going to tell you in today's. Everything is a lie. Undoubtedly, it could be the perfect summary of this first installment of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLCs, the Teal Mask. Where before talking about this interesting theory, and that really has so much foundation to be real, we have to give a brief context explained in the previous video of the channel. I recommend it in case you haven't seen it yet. And it is that the Kitakami region would await one of the oldest legends of the place, where everything was really a lie, so that we understand the good Ogerpon is a very sweet being. This creature would arrive accompanied a long time ago to the region of Kitakami, where due to its strange appearance it would not have the best possible reception. There, a true expert in the creation of masks would help this strange Pokemon by giving it 4 different masks with which it would hide its appearance and become very popular in Kitakami. This would be the star of the festivals of the place, a fact that would raise the envy and ambition of 3 strange beings appeared from nowhere. As you may well know, at this point in the story is where everything ends up being misinterpreted, since Munkidori, Fefandipiti, and Okidoki would steal Ogerpon's masks. After chasing them in anger, would cause a terrible event in the Kitakami region. Creating a bad image for this Ogre Pokemon, he took the lives of these 3 Pokemon. Ogerpon, I thought you were a good boy. This one would be banished to the top of a mountain, a story that, as I say, would not really make all the sense it seems. Stopping at this point where all these stories would begin to lose their meaning. Starting in the analysis, since this theory would actually point to this trio of villainous Pokemon being nothing more than retainer Pokemon, this being the very category that the Pokédex gives to this trio of very important Pokemon, which have such a weird personality, being almost funny and a bit clumsy villains as if they were Team Rocket. Properly, the term retainer defines a person, or in this case Pokemon, that in exchange for money or a reward would perform actions that are ordered. And as you well know, Pokemon does not do things just for the sake of it. Everything has a meaning, everything has an explanation. As explanations are going to have to give us, with that and the story itself narrating the legend of Ogerpon, Pokemon would put in front of our eyes the presence and silhouette of a new Pokemon that has gone totally unnoticed, having a really strange shape as if it were a kind of ancient cosmog. Creature that, as you can see on the screen, could also remind us enormously to a strange object that would be sold in the first store as soon as we enter the Kitakami district. This strange souvenir would be sold in a store where the owner herself would be called Peach. Actually, this strange object would be the real appearance of the boss of this trio of retainer, having certainly also resemblance to a Peach or to the own purple chains that would imprison this trio of Pokemon. Being, as we have explained in previous videos, some scarves related to the festivities, representative of joy and courage, and as we can see in this first DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, nothing is what it seems to be. As you already know, the whole theme of the Peach can be perfectly associated with the legend that gives rise to this first DLC. The ancient tale of Momotaro, where in short, a little boy born from a giant peach would venture off to an island full of ogres accompanied by a dog, monkey, and Faishan, but seeing that these, in reality, would be the villains of the story. How interesting would be this story told backwards, full of lies and misunderstandings, where Momotaro himself would be the boss of the villains. And the good guy of the story was the fearsome ogre, who in reality was a cute little Pokemon. As I say, I would love all this theory and turn of events, but it would also make a lot of sense to explain something that I'm sure many of you have felt not very good things about these DLCs. Kieran, which really hasn't left any Pokemon fan indifferent, since with his first personality, being introverted, kind, curious, and somewhat nice, we could like him. Also understanding that his sister Carmine treated him very badly and had a very beastly personality, so we could even get some affection for Kieran. This would gradually show an unhealthy obsession with Ogerpon, and getting to lose his head completely, and making enemies with you, hiding information and acting behind your back, and being curiously this character, which due to his behavior would trigger the moment of the resurrection of this trio of the villainous Pokemon. So, Well, what a coincidence. If we stop the exact frame in which Kieran hit the grave of these three villains, we would notice a purple presence in the fist of this character, practically confirming to us that hear a secret without revealing. This theory would try to explain this huge change of behavior, although this fourth legendary Pokemon Totally Mysterious, which in the Pokemon community has already been codenamed as Dokutaro. It would actually be a creature that would be playing with Kieran or manipulating him to achieve its true purpose. As with that relationship with the toxic chains, which would possess the trio of retainers, everything would point out that these Pokemon along with Kieran are being manipulated at the orders of this fourth legendary Pokemon. And to increase the madness about this theory, if we stop to look at the silhouette of this strange Pokemon, it could remind us a lot of two things we have already seen a lot of in Scarlet and Violet. That simple and curious shape of the eyes would make an appearance in each of the Terrastyle given in the game, many possibly relativizing it with Therapagos. But I would not be surprised that with a twist of script, with an angry countenance could be behind all this, in relation also to this creature in terms of appearance and how much it resembles with Glimora. Which, as many of you know, in Scarlet and Violet there are ample references to the fact that Glimora could actually be a paradox creature, being able to be found in Area 0 and in all the caves adjacent to this place. Because not only Glimora would possess the poison type, so present in all these legendary Pokemon, but the only place far from Paldea where this creature would also appear would be the Crystal Pool, where it is said that the people of the village would go to meet their loved ones who have passed away. All this being a rather strange unknown, which I personally would like to interpret in one way. That very lake filled with Terrastyle stones would allow us to see what we most desire, and in this case, as Kitakami has popularized the belief that you can see your loved ones who have passed away, people evidently can see them. But it is very curious that after knowing this place, it is Kieran himself with his shadowy fist, which would revive from the dead the three heroes of the place, with a kind of Dynamax-like summoning ray, and that would be very closely related to the color of this fourth strange mysterious Pokemon. Even artists from the Pokemon community, such as Pen Paladin, would dare to represent in illustration as finally this mysterious Pokemon would possess the poor Kieran, returning to find us with a situation really similar to those lived years ago in Pokemon Sun and Moon and the possession of a Nihilego to Lusamine. All of this being a real madness, quite far-fetched, but fitting perfectly with a very strange behavior in Kieran, a lot of plot holes and nonsense in the provenance of this trio of villainous and perfectly linked Pokemon being the minions of this strange creature of which we still only know its silhouette. And you? What do you think about all this? I want you to leave me here below in the comments your opinion, and especially if you would like such a crazy turn of events in this Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. I really appreciate if you follow my channel and give me a like. Soon we will see each other again.